Hello, it's me, the Sterninator. We're going to be going over a Pokemon that I designed for the Collabo region. So, yesterday I actually worked on this version here, and I'll show it again in a little bit. I just kind of had it up when I was referencing the drawing for it. So, I worked on this Pokemon for the Collabo region, and the whole premise was several things. One was that it had to be a rock type, the other, though, that it had to be based on earthbending, and the third was that it was the first of a three-stage line. As I looked at what I designed and worked on, I was still very, very happy with the concept and with the portrayal of this Pokemon. However, I felt very much like it didn't feel like a first stage for this Pokemon. It felt like a middle stage or even a third stage of like an early route rock type. So I kind of went back to the drawing board and I wanted to try again. I wanted to make something that felt much more cutesy, much more toddler-esque, something that felt like it truly could be this weak little thing that you come across that has the potential to grow into something bigger. And when I first designed that Pokemon Sedimite, I had that in mind and I had that thought and I thought, okay, there's a way to make this work. But I think that when I was designing it, I didn't come across with a simple way for it to work. I didn't give it a lot of room to grow, in essence. So here I am kind of redesigning this. You can see I took a lot of inspiration from that toppling rock motif. I put its arms out and its legs so it feels like it's trying to balance. And that kind of lent a lot more to that toddler aspect of learning to walk, learning to control one's body. And I really wanted to lean into that as a motif to this character. So here it is. I brought the hands down a lot more too. In the previous iteration, I'd given him these massive hands that were like just absolutely wrecking balls of weapons, and it was really cool. But it also felt like this Pokemon had achieved something that I feel like an early route Pokemon or a first of three-stage line shouldn't have yet. They should have the opportunity to grow in that way rather than having grown in that way. Again, I still love the original concept. I just wanted to kind of go back and find a way to simplify it and make it feel a lot less intimidating and more keeping in mind that concept with Pokemon design that they should feel like your friend. So here we go. We got this concept of these toppling rocks. Here we are drawing the rocks, which I actually found to be one of the harder points of drawing this. How do you draw rocks that look both like they are standing on their own, balancing on their own, but also like they could fall over at any moment? So I thought about shapes a lot in the initial sketches, and you can even see when I went to the line work, I changed those shapes up a lot. I did want to keep kind of that head shape. I really liked the idea of bringing that earthbender helmet into play, and so I kept that dome type football-y head shape. Just kind of made the eyes bigger, gave him a little bit more of an open mouth. And another thing that I wanted to capture was the chest piece. So in the initial design, it has this gold medallion over the chest, and I had signified that as it almost like it's white belt. But a gold medallion felt very much more like a black belt type of analogy. So instead, I gave it this hole in its chest, this crevice to kind of give the feel and the vibe that this thing has been knocked down a lot. This thing is it's used to losing. It's used to getting bashed. It's used to getting just pummeled. But it's still getting up. It's still balancing those rocks. It's still trying to be the best that it can be. So I wanted to bring that in. It also allowed me to bring that yellow of the eyes down a little bit more, which I really liked. I like the idea of, well, I'll say this, I'm not a big fan of the idea of just these glowing stark eyes out of nowhere. So I was glad that I was able to bring that color down into the body a little bit more, which I feel like is something that I kind of did with the gold medallion in the initial design, but it doesn't give off the same energy. Again, it gave off the energy that this thing has accomplished and has done the work. And I want something that feels like it is actively doing the work, actively trying. And I think that gives a lot more credence to it. I can see this guy kind of stumbling across in the anime, trying its hardest to keep these rocks on its head. And the trainer, it used to be Ash, now it's these other characters. I don't know who they are yet. I haven't caught up to that point. coming across and seeing this thing almost like that Charmander episode of Ash finding the abandoned Charmander. Finding this Pokemon that wants to be a great warrior but just can't seem to do it on its own. And bringing that into the fold of the anime, bringing that into the fold of the game, and making it something that it wants to be. And I can even see that almost being like the Farfetch'd to Sirfetch'd uh, transition there. I see it almost as like, okay, how does this Pokemon evolve? Not through level up, but through hardship. And so, yeah, I was really pumped about it, really toyed with that idea a lot of this thing that struggles rather than being the other one that we had. So, I mean, I guess here we are. We're finishing up the lighting. We're finishing up some of that polishing the rocks, if you will, and giving it just a little bit more life, just that last little instance of life. But this is Sedimini. Sedimini is a favorite of mine, a new favorite. I love it so much. I changed up the stats just a little bit. I felt like even with the other form being a little bit weaker, it felt a little too weak, like it couldn't stand on its own in an actual fight. It looked tough, but couldn't do it. So this one is just a little bit stronger, despite being an actually weaker pre-evolution of that form, or being just a different version of that form. I changed the height a little bit. You can see here it has the ability Sturdy and No Guard. And I like that because it feels very much like Sturdy is this defensive move. It's going to hold in there no matter what. And No Guard kind of being that balance coming into play. So it's like if you find one that has the ability balance, it's a little bit further in its journey. So if it has No Guard, it's a little bit further, and it has that ability to hit as well as take hits, and incur that balance. Still rock type, still the earth bending Pokemon. I brought in that shiny of almost like the dirt clod or sandstone type color. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you prefer this one or the other one? I still stand to reason that the previous version, while being really cool, I felt like it didn't really fit the prompt. So that's why I wanted to go back to this one. This one I think is super cute, super fun. I would love to have him on my team. Let me know in the comments if you'd have Sedimini on your team. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff that I gotta say at the end of a video. And I guess I'll see you next time.